The main idea of this week is to introduce Newton's second law and relate it to the momentum principle. It identifies how to use Newton's second law to predict the future using computational models. And the lecture also includes a lot of important information about how to execute a computer-based lab. It further briefly introduces three forces like weight, drag force, and spring force. The thing that I have already know before I take the lecture is about the Newton's second law and its relationship to the momentum principle. I know how to transit from the Newton's second law to the momentum principle. And something new, especially new for me, is to build a computer model for the physical motion. I think this is something that I'm nervous about. And second is that I have never encountered the idea of iterative prediction. And this is something new for me. And also for the spring force that I have that supplies a new idea for my previous understanding is that the Hooke's law is just for the magnitude of spring force. It's not for the spring force. The spring force is a vector. It's much more complicated to calculate. I think something sparks my curiosity is the idea of simplification in physics. When we build a physical model, we try to remove some extraneous forces to make it much more straightforward and much more understandable. I think it's a great idea for me to apply to my biomedical engineering learning in the future. When I try to create something or when I try to analyze the whole human body, I have to know what is the most crucial thing and what is relatively unimportant and is removable. And I think a great example for the simplification idea of physics is that actually the momentum principle that I have previously encountered is not a precise equation. It's an approximate definition, but since that most of the object we encountered, its speed is much more slower than light speed. So actually, the approximate function can already serves well for it. We don't have to really calculate the very precise data for this. And I think the thing that most confusing at first is about the meaning of the momentum. And I think the supplementary resources, especially for the textbook, is really useful when I encountered an example, and it really removes my confusing about this point. It compared when you tossed a tennis ball to your friend with when you toss a bowling ball to your friend. I know that from this, I know that the momentum is actually the amount of interaction. It both related to the mass, related to the velocity of the object.